Hi, this is Gary Jordan for Natural Law for North America. And the last time I did a video, besides having a little more hair, I'm going to grow back, the annual butcher, is we were talking about the Articles of Confederation and why we needed to rewrite them. And I won't go over that. But what I will do is give you an update on them. Because I think some of the things we did were very interesting and very timely with the economic bull that's coming out of Washington and the UK and all that. And that's primarily the reason we did it, because it was just so much BS. Anyway, what we did, we started to go up and down the articles. Go up and down them, and then we kind of looked to see whether or not they needed to be updated and how we would do that. After all, it's been 250 some odd, 200 years or so. So it was time for an update. New technology we've got that didn't exist, and new attitude towards life, which is factors in there a lot. The rights of Mother Earth get acknowledged. And when it happened is we ended up first creating a Republic of Earth Articles of Confederation for the Earth, because we really found ourselves looking at very broad, very large frameworks of attitudes and ideas that we were thinking. We didn't want it to be commerce oriented, which the original articles were. They were oriented towards government, commerce, and that sort of thing. And we wanted it to be people oriented. So we, like I said, we went through each of the articles, examined them to see whether or not they fit what we wanted. And we ended up doing the Republic of Earth first. And one of the things that I popped up with and that others like is the idea of nesting, because each person is a sovereign nation. That was something we've been saying for a while. And as a sovereign nation, individually, we're an individual state. In the United States Articles of Confederation, we've actually got two now working on it. They're both drafts, they're rough drafts. You're invited, if you like what you see, to go to Rise, the Skype group called Rise Together, and you'll find some of us that are working on it, and you can participate as much or as little as you like. Even if you're from another country, you may still benefit by seeing how we do this, because all the governments are corporations. Unfortunately, we don't have any real ones, because the unum sanctum and then the three people bull, collectively known as the Doctrine of Discovery, allowed the Vatican to claim it owned everything on this earth. I have bad news for that particular Pope and for those that followed him after and upheld that teaching. That's wrong. Jesus never taught that. And we got to go back to that. That's a whole different issue. Anyway, I wanted to bring with you a couple of the articles that, like I say, I think are very timely. Because they deal with our economy and our quality of life without harming the other living system. And we don't have to, but we've got some learning. So what I'm going to do is pop up on my phone and I'm going to read to you. Believe it or not, I really am legally blind. I've got this thing blown up and I got to do it this way. The two of the articles I think are related to one another because of the economy and because of what we've been taught. And here's what we came up with. Article 10. This is from the Republic of Earth Articles of Confederation, United States. And this is Article 10. And it says, representational value. Let me try that again. Representational value systems, money, have traditionally been in a product. Hold it. Have been traditionally been. See, I got to scroll here. Been used in measuring an amount of or level of human energy invested in a product or service. These systems are unnecessary cumbersome, and create fictional hierarchies. Therefore, all money systems dissolve as human consciousness, understanding of our symbiotic relationships with the earth, and access to alternative technologies provide. And meanwhile, states may, by free will choice, create means of exchange consistent with the values of their respective communities. Loans for interest are considered usury and are prohibited. And that's an important thing. In fact, I was reading a few weeks ago UCC filing that literally said for Alaska, apparently this year sometime, I can't remember now, but it said that under the assets were listed every man, woman, and child with arms and legs and the land were considered assets of Alaska. In other words, we're their collateral. That's what they mean by human capital. We are their collateral. We are their slave. That's basically what the government, the corporations, and sadly parts of the church, aka the Vatican, sees us as. We are their slave. It's not just for indigenous people anymore. It's for the white monster. We are no longer a white monster. We went from being a monster when the white people colonized this continent and Central and South America, to now being as big a slave as the indigenous people, who most white people still think are better than. Anyway, that's how that. And you may ask, well, how can we do that? The key words I want you to remember are, I can find it again, alternative technologies. That is, and access to alternative technologies. Well, what would that mean? What that means is off the grid. And most people don't know. I think there are several ways that alternative technology can work out. And you would say, well, we don't have the resources to do all that. Well, maybe not. But in the second paragraph of Article 8, we have a key to this, and I'm going to tie the two together because I think they work together. Existing infrastructures remains as long as it is maintained and utilized in harmony with the regenerative cycles of surrounding life systems. Individuals, groups, or communities sharing an interest in roads, pipelines, railways, etc., possess guardianship of them and are responsible for their care and operation. And that to me is the key here. The reason I say that's the key is because existing infrastructure, a lot of it might not be necessary. Alternative technology, some of which includes what we call off-the-grid technology. And what that is technology that allows a homestead, a band, which is 2 or more families, or a small village, to live without crisscrossing wires all over the place and underground pipelines and stuff. So we start with I'd like to start with the building because we could be seeing some very strange stuff this summer. And the oil industry in this country is dying because of the power games that wanted to play with the rest of the world. Now they're coming back and kicking us in the butt. At least our corporate masters in the butt anyway. And the thing I want to bring to you is construction. Now, I've also lived in California, where I grew up in California, where we are prone to droughts on a regular basis. These periodic drought cycles. And we're in a big one now. So the existing infrastructure might not be what we want. So let's take an example. Housing. If you think about, and you actually go into your walls and actually look at what your walls are made out of, you might be surprised at how thin they are. They're only a couple inches. Only a couple inches. Only a couple inches. I keep proving it. And they're not even made out of solid. They're made out of a framework. And then you have your gypsum board and stuff like that. It's not even solid. And that allows heat transfer to go both ways. Heat goes from the hot side to the least concentrated heat, which is cold. And whether that's the heat source is inside, you're heating it in the wintertime, it goes out the walls to the outside, or it's summer and it's coming from the sun and it's going into your house. So our modern construction, our wood frame construction, our metal like our mobile homes and trailers, transfer heat quite well. Some of the older technology, because they didn't have AC power, swamp coolers, look at the high-tech toys. We don't necessarily need to have high-tech toys to have a quality of life. We think we do. We've been told that by our corporate masters. Three forms of architecture, depending upon your earthquake situation, are appropriate to consider, to look into. Check it out for yourself. See what you like. Most of these will allow you to do a number of styles, so your outside and insides can be decorated as you wish, and that's a free will choice. Regional variations, stuff like that. The one I'm drawn to the most is called cob. It's a reinvention of an ancient form of essentially mud, clay, straw, and water. It was originally used in places like the UK. And in the Pacific Northwest now, there's been a revival starting in the 90s, and it's working its way down, across the country. And unlike Adobe, which is not the bricks, it's similar in what it's made out of, but Adobe is usually in bricks, and you've got the mortar between the cracks. And therefore the problem was earthquake. Now, I live in California, like I say, so we have to think about that, They don't happen that often, but when they do, pow, you know about it. And the mortar, apparently, I've been told, is what the problem is there. Cob doesn't do that because you make these little balls, and then you stack the balls on top of each other and press them in like that. And you build your walls that way. There's another one that's good, basically for insulating properties. It's called straw bale. I'm not that familiar with it, but it does have good insulating properties, I've been told. Anyway, the walls are like 2 to 3 feet thick. Compare that to, and they're solid earth. And they have what they call thermal mass. So the temperature stays pretty constant on the inside. The heat that comes in the afternoon that would go through a standard American house, whether it be a trailer, mobile home, or your standard McMansion, will go through the house within about half an hour. Just because the walls are thin, the materials are not solid, and they don't have the ability to slow the process down. Next time it's a hot summer, hold down your roof and your walls and see how fast your house cools. That will show you how fast to transfer it. But the 2 feet walls allow for heat to take till morning. I mean, it takes a number of hours for it to get through, so it slowly, the timing's right. There's a couple of other construction methods, one called echo domes, which are earth inside of bags that are set up in a way to where they become solid, and then you put your siding, your plaster, and whatnot, and you protect them from the element. And so you have that. And that's just an example. I mean, you've got water, which can be a number of methods to handle that. That's just kind of the way that game goes. But I seem to be moving all over this screen here. So I apologize if I'm not quite balanced. But anyway, I wanted to give you an update of what we've been working on. And there's a lot more stuff. But that should give you an idea. I'm having trouble with my internet, so I may not be able to post the links. But if you go to rise.together the Skype group, you can get in on the information. Um, and there's a website called American Law of the Land, I believe is how she got it listed. Anyway, there's several ways you can get a hold of us, and I'll try to answer you best I can. So, you take care, enjoy yourselves, have a good night, and there's a lot of good changing going on. Please be a part of it, share it, think about all the possibilities that you could do to live well and happily without all the consumerism. We don't need it. We never really did. And we can do better than this for our children and for the children's children to the seventh generation. Good night.